celebration so far. And keep your eyes on these men because they are ready for just one more huge celebration. As we get ready for Game 5 of the Major Indoor Soccer League Championship Series, we can look back on the past few games and see that there have been many, many heroes for the Baltimore Blast. Not only Heinz Wirtz, but Pat Ercole and Dave McWilliams. They have supplied so many special moments. The passing between the Blast players who have played a long, hard season has also been superb. Mike Stankovic finding that even goals can be a painful experience. Stan Stamenkovic not finding himself open many times, but with only a sliver of hope, feeding goals like this to Pat Ercole with a brilliant pass. And then truly the climax of the series. Just a couple of nights ago in St. Louis, one of the most exciting games the MISL playoffs have ever seen. It is sudden death overtime, and Stan Stamenkovic for the moment out of the play, and then an instant later, the hero. The Blast winners in overtime. They lead 3 games to 1. Chip for Kenny Cooper. Live from downtown Baltimore, Channel 13 presents Game 5 of the MISL Championship Series between the Steamers and the Baltimore Blast. The Civic Center is getting ready, and you can hear the fans will be ready for Game 5 of the Championship Series. We're live at the Civic Center downtown as the Blast carry a 3 games to 1 lead into what could be tonight their very first MISL Championship. Tonight's game is being brought to you by Lowenbrau. When you want the taste of a truly great beer tonight, let it be Lowenbrau. And by Legum Chevrolet Nissan Direct Outlet. The only way to beat Legum's price is to build it yourself. I'm Al Trautwig along with Lou Tilley. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Civic Center. It's dark now, but believe me, the fireworks will be flying in just a few short moments. One thing, Lou, I think the Blast should remember is that they were the St. Louis Steamers last year. They lost both games in San Diego in the Championship Series and came back and won both games here, sending San Diego back home. That's exactly the way the Steamers must feel.
And the difference is that St. Louis has to come to Baltimore to win one out. I think if they take the series back to St. Louis on Sunday, we could have a problem. And Kenny Cooper is well aware of that. And anytime you talk about the Blast, you can't get away from this craziness that we're going to have tonight. We haven't had a sellout all year long during the playoffs, and tonight the largest crowd in Blast history is expected, and Kenny Cooper is at an emotional high. You just almost hope they don't come out too high, Alan, and keep it under control and just get out of the first quarter. If they do, I think they'll be all right and go on to wrap the thing up tonight.
A little bit more about tonight's Game 5, but right now Lou Tilley has a report on what's happened so far in the series.
The first time through Crabtown, it was the visitors from St. Louis raining on our parade. Jeff Cacciatore stole a pass, and his empty net goal turned the tide, and St. Louis steamrolled their way to a 7-3 upset of the Blast in Game 1 of the best-of-7 series. 2 nights later, Game 2, and a similar affair. The talented, hustling Steamer defense frustrating the Blast attack, who had to go back to the basic digging inside for 2 key second-half goals. And in the most controversial play of the series, Bob McAvan's pass appeared to bounce off the Blast trainer Bob Baldwin out of play before coming back in and leading to Pat Ercole's winning goal. 5-3 the final as the Blast evened the series at a game apiece. It was on to the gateway city, St. Louis, and a national television audience saw Baltimore's Joey Fink pick himself off the scrap heap and score the first, third, and fifth goals. Mike Stankovic continued his outstanding offensive play with 2 tallies as Scott Manning turned in the series' best individual performance to date with 30 saves in the nets as the Blast turned the series around with a 5-2 win. And so it was, trailing 2 games to 1, that St. Louis faced a must-win game Wednesday night at the arena. However, a bad sign early when Baltimore's Stan Stamenkovic broke out of a series-long drought to score his first goal of the championship play and the first goal of the night. However, the Steamers exploded for 2 goals in the opening 2 minutes of the second half and took their first lead in 7 periods of play at 4-3. But with time running down, Stamenkovic weaves his magic to Pat Ercole. The header and his 3rd goal of the night tied the game at 4. St. Louis makes a bid to win in regulation, but Scott Manning makes the save of the series on Diego Pesa in tight. On they go to overtime. And there, Stankovic and Stamenkovic bring a Yugoslavian brew to boil.
Shooting, it's blocked in front. Gets his own rebound. It's in! Stan Stamenkovic has ended it.
Unbelievable. Look at the runaround.
Well, it's very difficult to get used to sudden death overtime goals. On the negative side for St. Louis, a gut-wrenching experience. It happens so quick, you really never know what to feel or say.
Almost for the winners as well. Bellinger, after the game, an interesting comment, Al, said, I think we played as well as we played all year long. All year long. We threw everything we had at them, and we lost. And whether or not that has an effect on St. Louis's psyche tonight remains to be seen. If it does, and with this crowd at a fever pitch, it could be over in a hurry.
And Don Ebert said of the St. Louis Steamers as well, it was the worst loss of his entire life. Chris O'Donoghue is alongside with us tonight, and Chris has a report on something else that has something to do with the Major Indoor Soccer League Championship Series. Chris?
May 29, 1980, the birth of the Baltimore Blast, as MISL indoor soccer comes to Charm City for the first time. Interest was quickly generated as local kids tried out for this new franchise, and 7,100 fans witnessed the home opener on November 29, 1980 versus the Philadelphia Fever. Result, Blast wins 10-7. After a winning maiden season, the Blast organization quickly went about the business of establishing themselves solidly in the Baltimore community, setting up summer kick soccer camps for kids aged 6 to 16, sending players out on public appearances, attracting corporate sponsors.
The Blast organization, very solid. We like a winner.
And putting on spectacular pre-game shows that initiated a love affair between the team and their fans that has blossomed into the successful franchise they are today. Witness the consistent growth in performance and attendance the Blast has experienced in their 4 years in Baltimore. Coming closer every year to that ultimate goal of an MISL championship, losing to San Diego in 1983 in the final game 3-1. And now in 1984, with the addition of top-rated stars Kitson Machia Kunavats and Stan the Magician, the Blast tonight find themselves one game away from the realization of their dream.
There's been so many things that's held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know we've got a long, long way to go, and where we'll end up, I don't know. But we won't let nothing hold us back. We're putting ourselves together, we're polishing up our act. If you've never been held down before, I know you refuse to be.
Blasters certainly hoping to repeat that scene tonight. Interesting switch for the Blast in goal tonight. And Lou and I will be back to tell you more about that and talk about some other key players in tonight's Game 5 of the MISL Championship. The Blast in search of a party. We'll be.
Have you ever seen so many clams? It's incredible.
Here's to good friends.
Wow, look at the size of that.
Life's kind of special. Beer will pour.
This is the only way to go shopping.
Must say something more somehow.
I think Linda picked up some long brows.
So tonight.
Now tell me, how are we going to top this?
Tonight.
We got all summer to try.
Let it be low and raw.
Hey, what you up to?
I'm building a car. This is my baby.
But why?
To beat Legum's price.
Did you shop around?
You mean run around? Believe me, there's only one way to beat Legum's price. You gotta build it yourself.
Legum's got 84 Nissans for under $5,000. Maybe the only way to get it cheaper is build it yourself.
Yeah. Isn't she beautiful? Maybe I better read the directions.
Let me. Legum Chevrolet Nissan, 7900 Eastern Avenue, Beltway exit 38 West.
This month, we're having a spectacular $3.99 a box sale on 24 delicious Murray's products, including cubed beef steaks, veal steaks, pizza steaks, char burgers, meatballs, veal parmesan, sausage patties, and many, many more. All $3.99 a box. How do we do it? I'm Mr. Murray, and what I say goes. There's never been a better time to buy a box of Murray's, and at these prices, they're going fast.
Give me some fun in the blazing sun. Give me a friend or two. And when my thirst is at its worst, give me a Mountain Dew. Oh, do it, do it, do it, do it, Mountain Dew. Do it, do it, do it, do it, cool and smooth. And I got a thirst. Drench it, smooth it, cool it, do it, Mountain Dew.
Back at the Civic Center in Baltimore, I'm Al Troutwig along with Lou Tilley. Lou, just a couple of quick comments about some of the key players that we're going to see in tonight's game. First for the Blast.
Well, for the Blast, Keith Van Aren will be in goal, as we mentioned just before the breakout. And this is a little bit of a change because Scott Manning bidding to possibly be the playoff MVP, but he asked out willingly, and he will sit on the bench tonight. And Keith Van Aren, who won Game 2 against St. Louis, will be in the nets tonight.
And in goal for the St. Louis Steamers, an old veteran. He can really give you gray hairs if you're the coach of his team, Slobo Ilievsky, the #1 goalkeeping star of the MISL this past season, but he is still nursing a very sore shoulder. He will be in goal tonight for St. Louis.
Tim Whitman is a native Baltimorean. His dad is here. He's just 20 years old. He scored 20 goals in the regular season. I'm looking for him to possibly be a breakthrough player tonight for the Blast.
The St. Louis Steamers also will look up front for some offensive help from Don Ebert, who was a Rookie of the Year 4 years ago. As we look at Steve Petcher, Steve Petcher will not be here tonight for the St. Louis Steamers. Steve has had a disagreement with the coach, Dave Clements, and he, in his own words, said, "I'm off to Florida, the heck with this series." And an all-star defender, the Steamers will be without.
Stewart certainly has not gone south. He has been the glue that holds this club together defensively and sometimes offensively to break the St. Louis zone. He'll be in there for the Blast tonight.
Now we can look offensively up front for the St. Louis Steamers and talk about the former Rookie of the Year, Don Ebert. Now, Ebert up front is one of the most dangerous players in the league. Although, as I mentioned already, he said that the loss in Game 4 was the most difficult he's ever had to face in his entire career. We'll see if the Steamers can rebound emotionally tonight.
And maybe even more than Stan Stankovic, I think that Mike Stankovic, the big bruising midfielder for the Blast, who assisted on Stankovic's winning goal, has been the difference in this series. His one-on-one skills at midfield just too much, admittedly, for St. Louis to handle.
Now, the St. Louis Steamers bring with them only 4 defenders here tonight. That means a little overtime work for players like Tony Bellinger, another one of the experienced original 5 defenders for the St. Louis Steamers, of which they will only have 3 here tonight. 2 of them left home with injuries.
Stan Stankovic, Stan the Magic Man, shut out all year by St. Louis, scored 2 in the last game, including the overtime winner in Game 4.
And up front for St. Louis again, a very important player, number 7, Darryl Duran. He's been quick, he's been very impressive, and he's been very dominant on the soccer ball. It's been very difficult for Baltimore to stop him.
Patter Coley up front, 3 goals in the last game, the leading playoff scorer. We're just about ready to go, and for the Steamers,
the final player up front that we will see is Sam Bick, a very important player on defense as well. Look for his number 17 because you will be seeing it quite often.
And we're just about set for the kickoff of tonight's 5th game of the MISL Championship season series. The Blast ahead 3-1, looking to close out the Steamers here tonight. We're all set for the play-by-play. Al Troutwig with the call. Feud between he and Coach Dave Clements that goes back to the start of the playoffs. He thought he was healthy. They sat him down. And what exactly did he say when he was benched in Game 4? I don't care. I'm going to Florida.
Yeah.
That'll certainly do well when the next contract comes up.
What a night for Baltimore. Just about 10% of the metropolitan area city at a sporting event tonight. Better than 12,000 here, better than 50,000 at the stadium.
That's right. I figure at 250, 300,000 on their way to Ocean City. I don't know who's whom and watching.
I was joking, it's tonight for the burglars. Nobody's home.
No, I know.
I'm Al Troutwig along with Lou Tilley. Chris O'Donoghue is along with us tonight. Don Ebert takes a slow bouncer in the corner for the Steamers. Ebert out for Larry Hulser, seeing limited action in the playoffs, only his 2nd appearance in the championship series. Fink can't get it out. And up into the crowd we go with 10 minutes to go in the first quarter. Still no score. It'll be a Blast free kick. Blast came out in the opening seconds. Heinsbert's ripping one in, and then Joey Fink following with a beautiful shot on Slobo Ilievsky, but we are still scoreless. Blast losing Game 1. and then winning 3 in a row.
No question they played better on the road at St. Louis. St. Louis has been more effective in games 1, which they were victorious in, and game 2, which they lost in the late stages.
Fink with a chance. Almost knocked in by a rebounding St. Louis Steamer. Here comes McWilliams. It's in. It counts. The goal is good. The goal is good.
Boy, Slobo Ilievsky committed the cardinal sin in all of sports, Alan. You never, ever stop until you hear a whistle. Now, Slobo Ilievsky thought the play should have been stopped here on a pulling foul against Dave McWilliams. He stopped, walked to the left side of the area, and while he did, the ball was scooting past him into the goal. An unforgivable sin. Right there. Watch Slobo. He makes the call and stops on the ball, and McWilliams goes ahead and pokes it into the goal. Incredible. Incredible. The kind of mental laxity that will cost the Steamers and ended in a hurry tonight.
Gino DiPolito talking things over with Don Ebert of the Steamers. You can imagine the frustration for St. Louis right now, seeing their all-star goaltender put his hand up in the air to stop play, letting the goal count.
And as a result, I believe, drew a foul or a penalty for arguing too strenuously. I can't see the box from here.
Well, reading Gino DiPolito's lips, it was dissent against number 13, Tim Walters of St. Louis. Not against that man, Don Ebert.
Inexcusable. Here is a team that has been the picture of fundamental play all year long. Now their captain deserting them, as you say. And 34-year-old, the veteran, best goalkeeper in the league this year, Slobo Ilievsky. I can't believe what I just saw. And now the blast with the power play on top of that. My goodness.
Emotional chaos right now for the St. Louis. You'll see those bright flashes quite often on the replays. That is because Sports Illustrated is here tonight, and they have hooked up strobe flashes in the ceiling, and they illuminate the entire building in effect.
Or when they take their individual still shots.
Yeah. In the slot, McWilliams feeding a racing Tim Whitman. Whitman ahead of the pack. The shot deflected by a retreating Diego Pesa. And Ilievsky waits before he refeeds it to the man who just blocked the shot moments ago, Diego Pesa. Timmy Walters juking on Max Thompson. Thompson wasn't falling for any of it. Out comes Hein Pertz. 3-on-3. Crossfield for Fink. Fink coming in on Slobo.
They're pointing to the sidelines again. I think they thought that play should have been stopped again. When Fink muscled his way down the boards, a foul may have been called, but play allowed to continue on the advantage. Whatever, it was obvious that Slobo wasn't at the top of his game.
Two strange ones, that's for sure.
Now here's the possible foul. And they're looking for the call. Everybody gives up on the ball, and Slobo gives away the near post.
Absolutely. Watch Neil Cohen. This is a reverse angle.
Yeah, Cohen gives up. Look at him. Makes no play on the ball whatsoever. Slobo's left all by himself, but he's hung out to dry, and Allen, he left up a lot of net. He gave a lot of net to Fink, and you can't to Joe Fink. Incredible. Well, we talked about the problems of mental laxity or laxness before this game, and it's certainly come to play here in the first quarter.
Oh, the Steamers mentally right now must be a mess. Blast lead at 2-0. The game continues in a moment.
Welcome to Miller time.
At Miller High Life, time is everything. Beer drinkers come to us because we've been brewing in extra quality for the last 129 years. That's a lot of our time. But it's the reason you spend your time with us when you want the best beer you can find. Miller High Life.
Welcome to Miller time.
Kenny Cooper pacing in front of the bench, listening to him speak before the game. His voice was almost breaking. It is an emotional night for this man. Let's go back and look at what led to the St. Louis Steamers timeout. Boy, do they need to talk things over after this.
Not very pretty. Once Fink rolls down the side, you see the St. Louis defense just stops and says, let's see what Joe can do with this ball.
Nice move by Joe to jump over a slow ball.
Very. This is probably the best move of the whole sequence.
We are live downtown at the Civic Center. Better than 12,000 for the very first time here, watching the Blast in hopes of popping the champagne at the end of the evening.
Well, I'll tell you, things don't bode well for St. Louis and their fans. Some of the most faithful in the league. This game is being televised back to St. Louis. Someone ought to remind.
Getting around Vick. Heinfertz pursued by Larry Hulser. Hulser on the intercept, and Timmy Walters spins the Steamers around. Beautiful back check by Dave McWilliams.
Mack already out of the box with one of his strongest games of the series.
3 seconds to go. Mejia, a long one. Oh! That would have been the perfect capper to a crazy first quarter. Everybody on the field gave up on it.
They almost did the same thing after the first quarter at St. Louis last Wednesday, only it was to Dave McWilliams who originated the pass this time. And Joe Fink is kicking himself. He hit the post on the follow shot.
Fink had the net and only
off the post.
Some of the quickest reactions in all of soccer. The St. Louis Steamers in the first quarter learning a very painful lesson. Play the whistle. We've heard the whistle. We'll take a break and be back on 13 in a moment.
If adventure has a name, it must be Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom, rated PG. Join the search.
Warp speed.
This, the final voyage of the Starship Enterprise. Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, rated PG. Now playing separately at a theater near you.
The fun, all the shows A to Z and the facts. What's behind what you see? TV Guide, the whole world of TV. That's entertainment. The stars underneath all the glow and the news from the people who know. TV Guide, it's a fabulous show. So buy TV Guide and read TV Guide. That's entertainment.
Put your hand up in the air if you hear me, Chris. Chris, put your hand up in the air if you hear me. We're maybe having a little bit of trouble with Chris O'Donoghue's microphone. We'll work on that and get back in just a moment. Kenny Cooper, St. Louis Blast coach, watching the first quarter of play. The Blast leading the Steamers by a count of 2-0.
Listen to these statistics now, Alan. You're talking about the Blast and maybe its finest offensive performance of the series, and the statistics certainly bear that out. In the opening 15 minutes of play, the Blast sent 17 shots on the goal of Slobo Ilievsky, who was forced to make 11 saves. By contrast, the Steamers got away just 4 on Keith Van Aren, who was forced to make just 1 save. And indeed, with Van Aren in goal in Game 2, the Blast defense set a new MISL playoff record by limiting St. Louis to just 20 shots on goal. 9 saves for Van Aren in the entire game. They're already ahead of that pace. 17-4. You're right. Ilievsky has been sharp, except for the 2 letdowns.
Oh, that's right, and the Steamers have to feel that if they didn't let down those 2 times, they'd still be tied in this game.
And maybe playing their game, but as we pointed out, it's certainly been the trend that if they get behind, they don't play as effectively. They are a counter-punching, defensive-oriented club that does not come from behind very effectively.
The Blast are hoping that they can send their airline tickets for the return to St. Louis back to their travel agent for a refund. If they win tonight, there will be no more. Only a East Coast for that matter.
We've made a couple of comments. Steve Petcher, the captain of St. Louis, not even here. We talked about motivation, their depressed mental attitude, and some people might wonder, how can you do that when you're playing for all that money of a championship in a professional sport, when in fact, this is probably the only major sport of any sort now where the championships means very little, almost nothing to these players who will make something in the area. Great save by Van Aaron, if somewhat unorthodox, but I think they'll only make somewhere in the area of $2,000 a man. To the champions of the Major Indoor Soccer League. So money is not the motivating factor here. Pride and competitive spirit really are.
Although to a lot of these players who are making 35, 40, 45, that's their summer vacation. The Major Indoor Soccer League Championship on the line tonight. The Blast leads St. Louis 2-0. We're in the second quarter, and we'll be back.
Of it, just for the roll of it. Diet Coke, just for the look of it, just for the kick of it, the real cola taste of it. Diet Coke, just for the joy of it, just for the just for the love of it, just for the one of it. From Coca-Cola, just for the taste of it. Diet Coke.
The scoreboard says keep clapping, and the fans here, better than 12,000 at the Civic Center, have listened to what the scoreboard has said.
With a couple of great saves, but a little bit of luck. One that went off of his own player and looked headed for the nets and came off the post.
Timmy Walters kicked away by Van Aaron. Loose in front.
Got to be a call there.
And there will be a penalty against a St. Louis Steamer player right on the goal line. Van Aaron taking quite a shot.
And that was a forearm to the neck is what that was, Al. I've seen linebackers do this to wide receivers coming across the middle. Now watch Van Aaron when he gets back up. Here it comes. A forearm right across the neck.
All right, we're getting physical at the Civic Center. The Blast still lead 2-0. We'll be back. Keith Van Aaron being attended to.
With little or no down payment at Legum Chevrolet, you can drive away in a Chevy Chevette with factory air conditioning for only $39.84. $39.84 full price.
At first, I couldn't believe it, but Legum really does have Chevy Chevettes just like this one for just $39.84. And they're air conditioned.
That's right. If Legum says it, you can believe it. Drive away in a fully equipped Chevy Chevette with factory air conditioning for only $39.84 at Legum Direct Outlet, 7900 Eastern Avenue.
The best Blast player on the field so far tonight has been Keith Van Aaron in goal. He has been knocked up and is being attended to by Bobby Baldwin, Blast trainer.
Well, he was just knocked down a minute ago. Duncan McEwen, the player in question, on the line with Van Aaron, trying to obstruct his view, screen him in front, put a forearm into Keith's Adam's apple, and the goalkeeper still down. Now here's the sequence we were talking about from the reverse angle. Nice save by Van Aaron, who kept his feet and was able to knock down a rising shot.
Van Aaron is up, and he's okay, or at least looks okay.
Well, you know, it's got to be one of the most vulnerable points on your body, Al. And I think he caught it right across the Adam's apple in the windpipe and knocked. And I'm thinking Pat's going to cross with the pass to Stankovic. Instead, he took the shot, and Slobo never budged.
The Magic Man to start things off again. Instead, it comes out to Pat Ercole. Traffic jam along the boards. Stamenkovic feeding Machia. And now a tight pressure St. Louis defense. Trying to slow the Blast attack down. 5 minutes to go in the half. Stamenkovic. Spinning inside, still spinning. Great save by Ilievsky. Stan.
One or two jukes too many.
A magic show in the slot. Don Draghi for the Steamers. A A bouncer in front, back to Draghi. 4.5 to go. Walters picked up by Stankovic. The man the Steamers say they have no clue as to how to stop.
Shows.
Don Ebert.
Now here's Stankovic now. What makes him so effective, Howes? He has good speed, he has good size, he has it all.
Stankovic coming in. The cross for Ercole. Spinning. Goal!
Those two right there, Mike Stankovic and Pat Ercole, have combined for some of the prettiest goals that you'll ever see in this series against St. Louis. You catch the tail end of it there, Ercole with the move, but it was Mike Stankovic breaking the length of the field and then crossing, hitting Ercole on the numbers. Pat cuts to the middle and then uses the left foot for a perfect shot under. And look at Slobo grab his face. He knows immediately that it's by him and in the nets. But what set it up was the great run down the left side. We were just talking about Stankovic and his combination of speed, size, and aggressive moves forward that made it all happen.
The leading goal scorer in the playoffs so far, Pat Ercole. Blast lead at 3-0.
Going into the locker.
Bellinger to take it. Stamenkovic fronting him.
Well, they give him the shot there.
Out to Draghi, blocked by Ercole, and that one hurt. That ball weighs a pound.
What is this man doing?
Finally, Neil Cohen. Van Aaron stopped that one. I was just about to say that ball weighs a pound, and when a player unloads one at about 75 miles an hour,
he wishes
I get out of the way. I don't try to get in front of it. 10 seconds to go. Another save by Pete on the goal line.
Boy.
And Diego Pesa getting a little too feisty for the Baltimore Blast.
Big save, though, with 7 seconds left in the half, and they're calling out the trainer is Bobby Baldwin. I think Keith may have caught that one. Hope not in the face, but in the upper body. But you know, that ball, he almost carried that ball across the line with him. Let's take a look, Al. Nice feed inside. Keith loses control, and there's Pesa, who catches him in the face. Catches him in the face, but Van Aaron still kept his poise and didn't take that ball over the goal line. Maybe a better look here.
How difficult to keep your concentration when you've got an opponent coming at you and you know he's going to be kicking at your head.
You know, Keith, of course, dropped that protective helmet earlier in the year. Has been a better player since then. And that's the sacrifice you make right there. Kenny Cooper, of course, a former goalkeeper, out to make sure that his man in goal is okay.
I think Keith is saying I took a shot right in the nose. And Kenny's saying it's not broken. You'll still be as good looking tomorrow as you are today. I'll say one thing, though. If I was Diego Pesa, I'm going for that loose ball, too.
Oh, so am I. Just missed.
7:06 of the clock to go, and it'll be halftime at the Civic Center. Blast leading at 3-0. This should just about bring an end to the first half of play. It does. Kenny Cooper said to the players before the game, it should be, let it be. Dare to be great. Well, the Baltimore Blast will now, in the form of a 3-0 lead, dare the St. Louis Steamers to come back in the second half. The dream is alive at the Civic Center. At the end of the first half, the score, the Steamers 0 and the Baltimore Blast 3. We'll be back live from the Civic Center with our halftime show, featuring a look at the Baltimore Blast's pursuit of the trophy in Tilly's Tidbits, a follow-up interview with Chris O'Donoghue, and first half highlights, right after this message from our sponsors.
Here's to good friends.
Terrific reunion.
Yeah, the last time we were here, we made history.
Tonight is kind of special.
I stole that ball. I made the pass.
I made the shot.
Make that shot again, we'll buy you a loan drop.
The beer will pour. Must say something more.
hey, what can I tell you? We still got it.
Never lost it.
Let it be low and brown.
Hey, what you up to?
I'm building a car. This is my baby.
But why?
To beat Legum's price.
Did you shop around?
You mean run around? Believe me, there's only one way to beat Legum's price. You gotta build it yourself.
Legum's got 84 Nissans for under $5,000. Maybe the only way to get it cheaper is build it yourself.
Yeah. Isn't she beautiful? Maybe I better read the directions.
Let me. Legum Chevrolet Nissan, 7900 Eastern Avenue, Beltway exit 38 West.
Back live at the Civic Center. Al Troutwig along with Lou Tilley and Chris O'Donoghue will be along with us in just a moment. Blast halfway there. 3-0 they lead. Goals by Pat Ercole, Dave McWilliams, and Joe Fink. The game, Lou Tilley, really got off to a strange start.
Yeah, it did. We speculated that after the way St. Louis lost in overtime in Game 4, that they would come in here and maybe have a hard time shaking off that discouraging defeat, and it's certainly true. Slobo made a couple of really sloppy plays, and his defense completely stopped a couple of times, and they got behind 2-0, and then Ercole with a great feed from Stankovic, and sitting in there right now, 3-0, and you know how Kenny Cooper wants this one tonight. You know how emotional he is. I find it very difficult to believe that the Blast will be anywhere but in the championship seat when it's over tonight.
All right, so far at halftime it's 3-0 for the Baltimore Blast. A recap of what has been a very strange season for Baltimore in Tilley's Tidbits.
The home opener way back in November. And the most visible difference in a new-look team, Stan Stamankovic, the magician, scores the first goal of the new season. But life with Stan and the new-look Blast would not be easy in the beginning.
These players are the most intelligent players I've ever been around, and they've got the biggest egos that I've ever seen, but we all have egos, and it's been great for me just working around them. A coach is only as good as the players he surrounds himself with. The new players that come in, Stamankovic, Kitson, Konovacs, Mishir, have been the difference.
But the most talented team in the MISL was just 13-11 at the season's midpoint. And as if that wasn't bad enough, in January, Friday the 13th at St. Louis, their two most effective players to that point, Mike Stankovic and goalie Scott Manning, go down with injured knees. Things looked bleak indeed, with 3 straight losses and just 60 seconds away from a 4th at Pittsburgh. Heinz Wirtz, with a remarkable save in the empty net, turned the game and the entire season around with this great individual play. The Blast would tie the game and win it in overtime. They would steamroll from there. A 14-6 win at the New York Arrows highlighted a club record 9-game winning streak. There was another 8-game win streak, and the Blast powered their way to the regular season championship with a glittery 21-3 second half mark. And yet for Ken Cooper, obstacles of a different kind.
The last thing that I think about is my 5 years with Bernie Roden. It's been an incredible experience. I mean, just we are like father and son. We have our ups and our downs, and he's an intense competitor, and so am I. And I promised him at the start of the season that Bernie, we'll send you out a winner. So.
That behind them, the Blast rolled through their opening rounds of playoff action. A vicious brawl in New York, the only smudge on an otherwise impeccable postseason. That now, after Wednesday night's win in St. Louis, finds them on the brink of their first championship.
We're 60 minutes away from our first ever championship, and they tell me that you don't get the feeling until that final whistle blows, and then I guess all hell will break loose. And I'm somewhat of a disciplinarian, and I don't spend a lot of time around the players, but I did promise the players that if we do win the championship, I would have a few drinks with them.
Lou Tilley, in recapping the season, you used the word tumultuous, but I had a chance to speak with Wayne Gretzky about 30 seconds after he won the Stanley Cup just a couple of weeks ago. Wayne Gretzky said to me, Al, it makes it feel so much better when you've been in the dumps and then you win. You know, last year Edmonton was swept by the Islanders in 4 straight, and now they had a chance to return the favor. The feeling there being, well, if we didn't go up against it at some time, it wouldn't be worth it.
Adversity, you mean?
Yeah.
I think that's true for any of us, and Kenny Cooper certainly went through that. And, he put his own neck on the line, Al, when he changed the look of this club in the offseason. After all, he had gone to the finals with a fine club, but decided that he needed to make some changes in order to win it all, to be 1 game better. And he paid the price for that in the early part of the season when they struggled along at 13-11. But in the end, he was right.
We continue now at halftime with the Blast leading in what could be the deciding game of the MISL Championship by turning it over to our man on the field, Chris O'Donoghue, for this report. Chris?
With me here at midfield is Kenny Cooper. Kenny, an emotional night for you. You've waited 5 years for this opportunity. Can you retrace a few of those steps, the ups and downs?
Well, it is an emotional night for many reasons. You know, we came to Baltimore 4 years ago, and Bernie Roden brought the team here, and he goes out tonight, and one thing I promised him, that it would take us 4 years to win a championship, and we're right on track. And you think about the ups and downs that we've gone through. We came into the city, and the demand really was that we were successful from day one. And as a first-year franchise, we had a 21-19 record. We made some improvements. Then we finished 27-17. The third year, 30-18. This year, 34-14. And we've won 2 Eastern Division championships. And we've never won nothing here in the Civic Centre. Both divisions have been on, Eastern Division titles have been won on the road. So yeah, it's an emotional night, but we have 60 minutes to go out and concentrate, and St. Louis is going to make it difficult for us. We're in the driver's seat. But one thing I want more than anything is to win this championship for Bernie Roden, for the new owner that's coming in, Nathan Sher, that bought the team, a local Baltimorean, and for these great fans in the city of Baltimore. The emotion has got to be on the field. I told the players, don't get lost in the emotion of the game. We've got 60 minutes, and then I guess we'll see what it feels like.
Well, Kenny, the whole city is behind you tonight. Do you think you're going to do it here tonight? I'm sure it's your hope.
Well, I believe if we can't win here tonight, then we don't deserve to win a championship. We lost the first game. We won the second game here thanks to great goalkeeper Van Aaron. 2 tremendous goalkeeping performances by Scott Manning, and some great goal scoring by Stankovic and Pat Urkel, Stamankovic in games 3 and 4. So if we don't win it here, we don't deserve to be a champion. So I said, let's go for it. We've got to dare to be great tonight. I said, tonight's a good night to die. Kill yourself and win the game.
Well, Kenny, let's hope you don't have to go that far. Long life to you, and the very best of luck tonight. Do you think St. Louis are ready to lie down at this point?
Not at all. No, I think the spirit's a little bit down, but the ball is round. Anything can happen. If they get a couple of early goals, you know, it could be a long night for us, but I feel we're ready to play, and I think we're going to explode.
Well, Kenny, best of luck. We hope you take it tonight.
It's going to be a great night.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Thank you. And back to you, Al.
All right, Chris, you could certainly hear that emotional sound in Kenny Cooper's voice. A quick update from the stadium.
Hey, Memorial Stadium, the Tigers lead the Orioles in front of 50,000, 1-0. Second inning play, Parrish with a single against Storm Davis to score Gibson in the first inning. Early action, second inning.
On a night when only about 65,000 people are watching sports in Baltimore, we'll bring you back. You're at home, but you're watching sports too on 13. We'll be back for more halftime in just a moment.
Okay, guys, you're on your own.
Here's to good friends.
Ready?
Ready as I'll ever be. Tonight is kind of special. Whoa!
Last one down by the lower brow.
Beer will pour. Must say something more somehow.
So tell me, were you scared?
No. Tonight.
Me too.
Let it be
There have been some dramatic breakthroughs in improved medications for stomach ailments. If you have stomach ulcers or have stomach pains and don't know the cause, you may qualify to participate in ulcer research studies conducted by board-certified gastroenterologists. If you'd like to apply, call the Baltimore Center for Clinical Studies at 366-7901. All applicants will undergo complete diagnostic examinations and are paid for transportation and time. If you're troubled by stomach symptoms, call 366-7901.
This week, Montgomery Ward has a great deal on Michelin steel-belted radial tires. Save 35 to 40% on all Michelin tires in all sizes for both imports and domestics. And of course, there's no charge for installation. Buy your tires at Montgomery Ward and we'll rotate them every 5,000 miles absolutely free. Save 35 to 40% on all Michelin steel-belted radial tires now at Montgomery Ward.
Back live at the Civic Center downtown. I'm Al Troutwig along with Lou Tilley and Chris O'Donoghue. There is the midway point score. The Blast leading the St. Louis Steamers 3-0. It began with a very strange play.
Well, here again we say Slobo Ilievsky immediately makes the call, but unfortunately the officials did not agree. If we'll drop the graphic, yeah. See, Slobo, he says play stops here, right? Dave McWilliams says no, it doesn't. Puts it in the goal. Unbelievable. One of the big bonehead plays in all of championship series play, I'm sure, on the part of one of the great players, Slobo Ilievsky. And again, as Fink comes down a little bit later, they let up.
The defense stands still, and Fink puts it past Slobo. No thanks to his poor defenders standing idly by in the crease.
That made it 2-0 until the second quarter. As we get one more look at Joey Fink's goal. Very difficult angle. You just see the defender standing there.
Well, I think Slobo was confused that he didn't get any help from the far side, so he had to give up a little bit of the near post to cover both angles. And when that happened, Fink saw the opening and shot it through. Patercoli, a gorgeous feed from Mike Stankovic, puts it home with a quick cut to the middle and pass to diving Slobo Ilievsky. But what made this goal so impressive was Mike Stankovic's length of the floor run, and then this pass across to Riccoli. And then the quick cut to the middle of the field.
You saw the score. It is 3-0. The Blast leading the St. Louis Steamers at halftime. The Baltimore Blast 30 minutes away from the MISL.
Big leaguers getting freebies to the game. Call the front office, bingo. And once these fans recognize me, I probably won't even have to pay for my light beer from Miller. Down it! I love them. These fans know I drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Good seats, huh?
You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on.
Oh, I must be in the front row.
Come on.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Good seats, hey, buddy? He missed the tag!
In the Blast bench, and we're going on down to Chris O'Donoghue, who's standing by now live as the Blast returns in the field. Chris?
Kenny, do you think that the Blast can keep this overdrive soccer going in the second half with the heat down here?
Yeah, I think so. We've got fresh legs. Unfortunately, Heinz Wirtz is through. We've got Paul Kitson ready to come in. Danny Counts, Bobby McAvan. Van Aaron's played fantastic. We're blocking a lot of shots, and we're getting a good performance from everybody. The thing that we have to watch is the rebounds. They've caught us a little bit off the boards, but we're playing good, solid defense. And I think the third period is going to be the key. We've got to keep them scoreless. We're going to the fourth period. I'll bring some fresh legs in.
Great first half.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny.
Chris?
Back to you, Al. Yes?
Chris, this is Lou. What's wrong with Heinz? Did Kenny say?
Say that, Lou?
What is wrong with Heinz Wirtz?
I can't see. All I know is that they are lifting him. He cannot put his weight on his right leg. I don't know. I'm going to try and get Bobby Baldwin over here. So next time you come back to me, I'll have more on it.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
All right, well, the bottom line is Heinz Wirtz is out. We know which play he was injured in. It was that two-man collision earlier in the game in the second quarter. I like the way Chris termed it. Overdrive soccer. It has been that. 3-0. Adrian Brooks fouling Rick. And Stamenkovic is down and out.
I don't see how he got hurt.
I don't either. He's holding his head. We'll get another look at it here.
Yeah, you see he drives through Pesa. He caught one across the right ankle as Pesa came back to the ball.
The foul, remember, was on Stan Stamenkovic. It was before Stan had been tripped that the foul was called by Gino DiPolito, the referee there, who stopped play. Bobby Baldwin rubbing ice all over Stan Stamenkovic in an effort to get the league's top scorer back on his feet. Diego Pesa offering an apology to Stan Stamenkovic. Stan looks like he's been through the ringer.
Well, it was an oppressively hot night right now. A lot of
down to Chris O'Donoghue and get an injury update. Chris?
Yes. Yes.
What has happened to Adrian Brooks?
Adrian got a kick on the bridge of the nose, but it's worse. It looks worse than it really is. I can get Bobby Baldwin to explain all of this to you if you want right now.
How about Heinz Wirtz, Chris? Have you found out about him? How about Heinz Wirtz?
Heinz got an elbow in the hip.
And in the meantime, the St. Louis Steamers have scored. The Steamers score on the restart, and for the first time, this team can smile. With 8:26 to go, and Diego Pesa, we were just talking about how he's been stymied, and now the crowd rises on its feet to give Keith Van Aaron a cheer of support.
This ball is deflected about halfway through by, I think, Mike. No, it may have been Patercoli right here at the top of the box, or Ray Kunovac redirects the ball
Van Aaron was moving to his right, and the ball came back to his left. Couldn't react.
Important moments now for the Baltimore Blast. 3-1. They've got a 2-goal cushion. But I don't have to tell you that if they give up another, it's only a 1-goal lead, and that is a different ball game. The Steamers didn't get here by lying down.
Orioles have come back, Alan, to tie up the Tigers. Top of the 4th, O scored in the bottom of the 3rd. They are tied at 1 at Memorial Stadium.
Larry Hulser coming in and scoring! Larry Hulser coming in unmolested. And the Blast now must take a deep breath and tighten the old belt. It is a 1-goal game.
Well, not much to tell from there. Hulser with a length of the field run, and Alan, we talked about Hulser in the lineup in place of Steve Petra. You don't expect this from Larry Hulser.
Plenty of defenders surrounding Larry Hulser. As we watch the reverse angle, no one picked him up.
He beats Keith down low and to the left, where Keith is usually the strongest.
Oh, the plot thickens at the Civic Center. 3-2, the Blast still lead. We'll be back.
As a relief pitcher, everybody thought I had it easy. See Pat here? He'd pitch his heart out for 8 innings or so, and then I'd come in, toss 3 or 4 pitches, and walk away with a win. But I had to train just like the rest of us. Yeah, well, I still like to keep in shape, and I drink light beer from Miller. See, light's less filling, and light really tastes great. Will you just let me finish? Why? You never let me finish.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Let me finish that for you, Sparky.
Diego Pesa and Larry Hulser scoring 28 seconds apart and erasing Keith Van Aaron's shutout. The Blast still lead at 3-2. The crowd on its feet, exhorting the Blast to hang on.
Now, time to get back to work now. You know, let's get our heads back in the game. It's 3-2, and as you said, now it's anybody's game.
Another chance for Ricky Davis, who had an opportunity and missed it wide.
Missed a wide open net.
Things are looking very ominous for the Baltimore Blast right now.
Shaky. Real shaky. Watch Davis wheel on this ball after an errant pass and a giveaway in their own zone. Davis with a bouncer went underneath Van Aaron and had him beat, but shot it wide.
On we go. Dave McWilliams sending it in for Tim Whitman, who bounces one forward, but it's grabbed by Slobo Ilievsky. An eternity to go in this game. 7:32 in the 3rd, and then, of course, a full 15-minute 4th quarter to play. Don Ebert battling with Max Thompson. They've had their run-ins in the series. And Adrian Brooks returns to the field of play and makes his presence felt to Don Ebert. Brooks took a kick in the nose. There was blood all over his face. But as Chris O'Donoghue said to us, it was worse than it looked. A mad scramble in front, and Van Aaron comes up with it. The outlet pass.
Blast has really done nothing in the offensive zone of St. Louis from period 3. If you're St. Louis and you were thinking, okay, we're down 3-0 in Baltimore, I'm going to join Steve Petra for a few rounds of golf in Florida tomorrow. Now all of a sudden you think, well, why not? Why not dig down and deep and see if we can't steal one and bring it back to St. Louis, get in front of 17,000 fans, and maybe pull it off.
Dave McWilliams battling with Adrian Brooks, but it's 2-on-4. Ricky Davis gives it up, but recovers nicely.
Oh.
Davis is a fighter, no question about it. He has battled with some of the world's best and the world's most physical. Steamers ball, Neil Cohen to Slobo. I'm Al Troutwig along with Lou Tilley, Chris O'Donoghue field side as our coverage live from downtown continues on 13. The Blast now leading 3-2. Max Thompson sends it away.
The Steamers have been gambling now, as we said, in the 3rd quarter. They come out and played high pressure, sending 4 or 5 guys across the red line into the Blast offensive zone, gambling on their marking in the front court to create some opportunities, and they have.
Slobo dumps it in for erasing Don Ebert. The officials say it was deflected by Max Thompson, and it will be a kick in. This is MISL Championship game number 5 with the Blast leading in the series 3-1. A victory here tonight means champagne for them. Darryl Duran will restart for the blue-clad St. Louis Steamers. Duran in front. It is loose.
Well, Mike Stankovic just elbowed a St. Louis player away. They've been so tough on the restarts inside.
Pesa gives it away. Ray Kunevats is there. Stan Stamenkovic back on the field. That's good news for Baltimore. Stamenkovic still with it, coming in, feeding Stankovic. It's in!
Have been so very, very special in the past 2 games. Stamenkovic with maybe his best floor-length run of the year out. He normally does it just in the front court, in the front field, all the way across the red line. Now, I'm thinking Stan's going to shoot here, but that's just when he beats you. He finds Stankovic wide open behind Ilievsky, and Mike does a nice job of redirecting this ball in a hurry.
An MISL record has been set by Stan Stamenkovic. This is his 33rd point of the playoffs. No one has ever done better.
From Stan's view, you see how he had sucked Ilievsky out to play him alone and left the backside wide open for Stankovic. And that's the kind of peripheral vision that Stan has with him whenever he moves towards the net, and what makes him such a great offensive star.
And the Blast again have some room to breathe. 4-2. They.
But he's coming back from a painful hamstring injury, and he has made some great plays, led the league in game-winning goals this year for the Blast.
The Blast are short-handed, but pressuring here. Bob McAvan. The Steamers.
Well, you've got 4 Tigers out there right now who are just kind of being uncaged for the first time in the 3rd period. We haven't seen a lot of Tim Whitman, Machia, Bob McAvan.
4 here and 25 at Memorial Stadium. That makes 29 Tigers in Baltimore alone. Duncan McEwen in the slot, swept away by McAvan. Now come the Blast again. A soft bounce pass off the boards for Kitson.
Look at this. Look at this.
Oh! Paul Kitson. Way to go, Paul.
This guy wanted this one, Al.
I thought he misplayed this completely.
He wanted this ball. That is as great a play as you'll ever see. And we still don't appreciate it from that angle. You got to take it back even further. The fight that Paul Kitson put up to make this play happen. And that's what it takes. What depth to be able to bring a guy like that up off the bench and to get that kind of play when St. Louis is carrying the play to you. And here comes the best move of the night. There it goes.
5-2, the Blast again have a 3-goal lead. They have answered the challenge of the Steamers. The Steamers scoring twice inside of 28 seconds to make it a 3-2 ball game. And the Blast have now gotten 2 back. One of them, the shorthanded goal you just saw. Quite the effort from Paul Kitson. Just missing, and Van Aaron, by the seat of his pants, recovers to stop that ball from bouncing in on the strange carom. Remember, the Steamers still on the power play here. Duncan McEwen fires, but it's blocked. Van Aaron. A frustrating goal to let in. The Steamers now make it 5-3.
Listen to the crowd, though. I mean, what great action here in the MISL Championship. Get a shot. Look at the people on their feet right now, applauding that power play. Off the board. Van Aaron can't handle the bouncy ball inside. Wide open net.
Now keep one thing in mind here. Keith is one of the few goaltenders in this league who plays without gloves. And he does usually such a super job, but that one slipped off his fingertips. The Steamers get one back. The goal for Timmy Walters from Don Ebert. 2:47 to go. Mankiewicz right here for taking down Mike O'Mara. Tripping is the call. Stan a little over-aggressive on the tackle.
Here's a replay of the penalty, and this could be a crucial one. But if we can get a shot now of Keith Van Aaron as he walks back into goal, Al, you had just pointed out that he was playing without gloves and had let a couple of them out of his grasp that led to goals. And indeed, during this pause in play, he went over and picked up a pair of gloves from Scott Madden.
Now, we mentioned earlier that Stan Stomenkovic, with the assist to Mike Stankovic's goal, has set a new MISL playoff scoring record. That's in one playoff season, 33 points, eclipsing the mark of 32 held by former New York Arrow Steve Jungle.
Follow up on the point now, Van Aaron just now pulling on the gloves. Sure, you can probably get away with playing without the, there they are, playing without the gloves, but in this kind of heat tonight, Al, the sweat on top of everything else, your hands have to be just slick as oil, and indeed Keith has let up a couple that have spun right out of his hands.
It is a power play again for the St. Louis Steamers. On the last power play attempt by them, the Blast scored a shorthanded goal, and the Steamers also scored a power play goal. 10 seconds gone by in the power play. The no-goal patrol consisting of Bob McEvan. You can see the Blast penalty killing in the playoffs has been superb at 88% as the buzzer sounds to end the third quarter of play. Stand by. The next 15 minutes of indoor soccer may be the last for the Blast this season, and it should be equally as exciting. 5-3, Baltimore leads it. We'll return you live to the Civic Center in a moment.
So this is the new log cabin.
Thanks for giving me a hand.
Hey, what are friends for?
Here's to good friends. Tonight's kind of special.
Try it this way.
The beer we'll pour says something more somehow.
Looks like we're about done, huh?
Not yet, you're not.
Tonight.
Not a bad day's work.
Next weekend, we put in the pool.
Let it be low and brown.
The Blast tradition of the salute to the fans after the third quarter continues here, but in the meantime, let's go down to Chris O'Donoghue.
With me is Mike Stankovic. Mike, you're playing like a man possessed tonight. In fact, the whole team is. How are you doing it out there? How are you keeping going?
I mean, it's the last game. It's our championship right now, and you have to give 100% how much you can. I think it's the last game we want to play. We don't want to keep going and go back to St. Louis. I think we have to wrap it up tonight.
Well, Mike, it looks like you're atrocious for trying to talk to us. I know you're working hard. Go back out there and do it, man.
I have to go.
Chris, Chris.
Okay, yes.
Lou Tilly here, Chris.
Yes, Lou.
Is the club fatigued at this point? That was a high-pressure third quarter. 5 goals scored in the span of 6 minutes.
Yes, it was.
Are they run down a bit?
No, in fact, I would say that if anybody is about to give it, it's got to be St. Louis. I'm right between both benches here, and I would see that St. Louis are really flagging. Their heads are down, and only this power play is the only thing that can give them the kind of adrenaline they need to stay in this game. But the Blast truly are like a team possessed. If they could package what they're running on tonight, they would be millionaires.
Could use a little bit of that myself. Thanks,
yes,
Chris.
Yes, indeed. Back to you.
The Kenny Cooper just brought the troops out in the traditional end of the third period salute. Al Trautwig. The largest crowd ever in the history of the Baltimore Blast and the Civic Center here tonight. Over 12,000 in a building that was probably designed to seat 10 comfortably. 12,007 here tonight. A new record and a great night.
We just watched one old veteran netminder, Ken Cooper, chat with the current holder of the crown, Keith Van Aaron. He will be in goal for the Blast as we begin the fourth quarter. He has been brilliant tonight.
He has been spectacular. In that third quarter, the Steamers and the Blast about even in shots on goal. The Blast with 6 more, the Steamers with 5. Van Aaron was forced to make 3 saves, and Ilievsky not a 1. Of course, 2 got by him. 3 scores for the Steamers. We saw 5 goals in the span of 6 minutes in the middle section of period 3.
Dave Clements and Ken Cooper the respective mentors of these two teams who have survived from the 12 that began the season. The Steamers won the West, the Blast won the East. Fasten your seatbelts, here we go.
A strange contrast, Clemens from Northern Ireland and Ken Cooper from Blackpool, England, involved in this craziness that we call indoor soccer tonight.
Sam Bick for the Steamers, feeding Ebert, back to Bick. The dump and chase at the point, Ricky Davis. Duran shoots it wide, McWilliams. Foot race between Finking and Ilievsky.
Oh! Get that ball. There it is!
Scramble. It's in!
Paid the price for once. Dave McWilliams, Paul Kitchen, Joe Fink, the workhorse line right now. And they finally make him pay the price. Slobo Ilievsky with a nightmarish final game, perhaps, to the 1984 season. Look at the crowd. And this is the kind of play you gotta love. Joe Fink smelled it here. He just kept working, just kept chasing Ilievsky. Got it across to McWilliams, who sends an accurate shot in on a wide open goal and splits it down the middle. But watch Joey Fink, who smells it, just gives up, harasses him, and gets it across to his line mate. Dave McWilliams and Joe Fink have been so effective in this final series.
Dave McWilliams has been hustling and hustling and hustling, and he scores for the Baltimore Blast to make it 6-3. And I've really got to marvel at Dave McWilliams' awareness of where everyone was on the field. He took that shot immediately upon receiving the pass from Fink. And it's time for Keith Van Aaron to change shirts.
But you know what I loved about it, Al, is Fink, his eyes just lit up. Is a money player, Joe Fink. And when he saw Slobo roam and he realized one time that Ilievsky had made the mistake and he wasn't going to let him off the hook. He didn't foul him. He didn't give the refs the opportunity to blow the whistle, but he made him turn it over. And he knew where Fink was, or he knew where McWilliams was. Look at the crowd. Look at this place on their feet.
I know there's a lot going on at Memorial Stadium right now, but this is the place to be tonight.
Look at the signs all over the place. One game better. And that's been the rallying cry for the entire 83-84 season, to get it to the final game and win it this year. 6-3, 9 minutes to go. It looks real good. I'll tell you.
The Steamers loose with the ball in front. Van Aaron dumps it out for a racing Paul Kitson. He chops it ahead.
Oh, look at this.
Gets the return. And now it's a foot race. The pace of this game is incredible.
Any fan of sport has got to love what we're seeing here tonight. The great athletic ability exhibited by both clubs. Bottom of the sixth now, the other game in town tonight, Orioles and Tigers still tied at 1. Storm Davis in a battle with Milt Wilcox.
Diego Pesa, block. Kitson with a break. It's 3-on-2. Joey Fink. And he got tangled up in...
With extra savings on everything you buy. But remember, it's a secret. Shh.
Secret sale starts today at Hoschel's.
Back live at the Civic Center with 7 minutes and 42 seconds to go. Let's take you back in time. Just moments ago, the St. Louis netminder way out of position, and the Blast take advantage.
Boy, Slobo has made a couple of blunders that will live forever, unfortunately, in St. Louis sports infamy tonight. What you gotta love about the Blast now this year, and who knows what the complexion of the team will be next year under a new owner and with so many free agents, but what you had to love this year was the combination of great skill and talent with the old Baltimore traditional earmarks, the hard work that we saw there from Fink and McWilliams, combined with the great skills of Mike Stankovic and Stan Stamankovic that we've seen tonight. And it just made for a really entertaining year, and at the same time satisfying one, probably capped tonight with an MISL championship.
As you can see, the St. Louis Steamers will employ the same tactic that they employed in Game 3 without any success Except now, instead of doing it at the 12-minute mark, they'll do it at the 7-minute mark. They need 3 to tie with 7 minutes and 42 seconds to go. This is Sam Bick.
Did they not score 1 goal with the in the final 10 minutes or so with Bick on as the 6th attacker in Game 3? I think it was 5-1 when they brought him in. I may be wrong. On a deflection inside, I think. But this is the 20th time, I think, this year that Sam Bick has come on in this role. He's been very successful, and he had a spectacular goal, a game in goal.
Yeah, when he gets to the goal line, he can stop shots.
He's tough, yeah.
Bick brings it out. He feeds Redmond Lane. Ahead to Darryl Duran. Pushing is called against the Baltimore Blast.
Well, the way the Blast has played tonight, so loose and confident and freewheeling, it could be fun to watch them here with an open net.
7 minutes, 31 seconds on the clock here at the Civic Center. Outside for Diego Pacer, right through the box. No one able to get a foot on it. Kitson hits the scoreboard, and this will be a free kick for the St. Louis Steamers.
We want to remind our viewers at the conclusion of the game, if it continues the way it's going and the Blast wins the championship, Al Troutwig will be live from center field with a presentation of the championship trophy, and I'll be in the locker room with the victorious Blast should they hold on and win their first MISL championship. I guess that means there's nobody up here to handle the mic, Al, but we'll work it out somehow.
Of the 6 MISL championship years, this would only be the 2nd time that a team has won in front of its home fans. I'll make it the 3rd time. Don Ebert. Out to Sam Bick. Diego Pacer. Blocked by Machia.
When you get the 6-on-5, Al, you technically have an advantage. You have an extra man, but there's so many men on the field. You have 11 guys in that offensive zone, especially in a small arena. It's tough to find a path to the goal.
Up into the crowd.
Well, the excitement's got to be building down there on the Blast bench. It's been a long year. Started back on November 5. 48 regular season games. This will be the 11th playoff game for the Blast.
I'm not sure players were meant to play 60 soccer games a season.
Or 9 months a year, or 8. A lot of practice days in between the games.
The Blast trying to work on fill-in goaltender Sam Bick. He is the extra attacker now. 6 minutes, 23 seconds to go. Sam Bick brings it up. Blast lead at 6-3. A foot race. Joey Fink may get there. He scores!
Brilliant. More speed than Joey's shown in about 8 years, I'll bet. But again, the veteran smells it. This is fabulous.
You remember back to Game 2 when Joey Fink was benched. He came back in Game 3 with a hat trick, and now he has 2 more tonight.
He just set up McWilliams into an empty net. Sam Bick doesn't have a... Joey winds up. Perfect. Perfect. Look at Fink take the last stride.
Not a very good angle to shoot from here either. Another break is
and it's Fink. It's Fink. Again. With that empty net tonight, Al, the way they were playing. Well, Richard Scher, our news anchor man on tonight, 6 o'clock, Eyewitness News, wherever you are. You said 8-3, pal. It's sitting there right now. Not much to say about this one. This one's a little bit easier, Al.
Joey wanted to sniff the roses along the way.
Right.
He said, it feels so good to be here. Now let me just enjoy it for a moment.
We got to go down to Chris O'Donoghue right now to see what it's like on the bench. They get close to the coronation with 6 minutes to go. Chris, can you hear me? I'm telling you, the Blast bench, Kenny Cooper's ready to run out in the field himself. Got to be an exciting moment.
Well, the Steamers have returned Slobo Ilievsky onto the field. And the Steamer players are basically offering some encouraging words to Sam Bick. Here's Chris O'Donoghue. Go ahead, Chris.
Chris, go ahead.
Okay, tell me when.
You're
when? controlled pandemonium down here. The bench said the difference in the game from here on in is controlling space. Back up, but don't back into your own goalkeeper. Keep coming at them, and that's the plan from here on out. Back to you, Al.
All right, Chris, it's absolutely pandemonium and very, very loud. With just that little earpiece in your ear, it can be very difficult to hear at times.
And there's Slobo about to get burned again. Nobody in goal.
Joey Fink, long shot.
Look at this! Oh! You couldn't write a better script. This is incredible.
There's the loneliest man in the arena right now, Dave Clements, the coach of St. Louis.
Clements says, I'll play goal. I give.
They're going to change Slobo Ilievsky to the goalpost one day.
Look at the shot, though, Al. Look at that shot.
Joey Fink, who is only one of 3 players to have a 7-goal game in the history of the MISL, now has 4.
And he has scored the last 3 in the last, let me see here, 8:53 in less than a minute.
Here's Fink again. 5:15 to go. Joey Fink. And reality sets in.
He has scored 3 goals in 40 seconds out.
That may be a record. Loose in front and kicks it clear.
Williams.
Stopped by Slobo. Mejia on the run. and a whistle stops play.
This is incredible. The crowd has been on its feet for 5 minutes, chanting Joey, Joey.
It's a little like New Year's Eve in Times Square right now. Just slightly confusing.
I don't know. Could anyone have stopped this team this year?
Bob McEvan beating Tim Whitman. 4.5 minutes to go.
Ken Cooper talked about it in the dwindling moments of the regular season. If his club were to win the MISL, he would love a rematch with San Diego.
And they won it. So look forward to that in the fall. Baltimore and San Diego. Max Thompson misfires, and that one goes up into the crowd.
What a magnificent matchup that would be. But for now, I'll tell you, look at the crowd. Listen. Working his way down to midfield where he will present the championship trophy of 1984 to the Baltimore Blast. 9-3 they lead. Under 1:30. The fans on their feet. It's off Frosty. McWilliams breaks out. Fink on the left side. Fink scores! In Ken Cooper's eyes. I imagine in the eyes of many of the viewers, the spectators on hand tonight, a very special moment in Baltimore sports history. Look at Ken Cooper. Joe Fink, Dave McWilliams, and his old friend from Philadelphia days on the left side to Fink, who has been magic. Beats Ilievsky through the legs, into the goal. His 4th goal of the final period of the year. In a span of 4 minutes exactly. 4 goals for Joe Fink. And
an assist. Saved by Van Aaron. Under a minute. 10-3 the Blast leads. On the verge of writing a special moment in Baltimore sports history. Stomankovic with a steal. Taken away. Three-line pass with 38 seconds left in the 1984 MISL season. Dave Clements, the St. Louis coach. Ken Cooper. And the congratulations begin. The tears. What a feeling indeed. McEwen, Lane with a shot on goal. Knocked away. 30 seconds left in the season. The fans on their feet. Stoppage in play. Steamers with a kick in. It's all academic. 10-3. Joe Fink with 4 fourth-quarter goals. And an assist. 5 points in a wild fourth quarter. Max Thompson gesturing for the fans to scream, let it loose, let it out now. 12,007, an all-time Baltimore Blast record for attendance on a night when the Detroit Tigers were in town to play the Orioles. The din is deafening and sweet. Kitson with a steal, 20 seconds. Stankovic on the left side, in the corner, 15 seconds. Stankovic inside, taken away, 10. Count it down with the crowd. A stoppage in play. A stoppage in play, a near fight. Duncan McEwen, Mike Stankovic. Stankovic muscling inside, was wrapped up by an unidentified St. Louis player. When they broke it up, Duncan McEwen came in, put a little shot to the back of Stankovic's neck. And then a scuffle. An unfortunate way, but the frustration understandable on the part of the Western Division champion St. Louis Steamers. And now the crowd puts it back in perspective.
WJZ-TV, Channel 13, Baltimore. We are experiencing technical difficulties and are working to correct them. No adjustment to your set is necessary. Please stand by.
We are back after some technical difficulties. Mike Stankovic has been sent to the penalty box. There are 8 seconds left in the final game of the MISL season. Stan Stomankovic, the MISL's leading scorer. The MISL champs indeed. 10-3 in the deciding game of the championship series. There is Mike Stankovic involved in the altercation with Mark O'Mara. Dave McWilliams. Slobo Ilievsky. The officials talking it over. They'll play off the string. Let's get it underway and finish it. Dave Clements and now Ken Cooper sprinting over. Very upset about something. Chris O'Donoghue standing by on the bench. And now Dave Clements and Cooper in a heated argument.
Number 5, Mike Stankovic. St. Louis, number 18, Neil Cohen.
Neil Cohen and Mike Stankovic sent to the box. Let's go to Chris O'Donoghue. Chris?
Joey, how many goals you get? You don't even know. You said 4 or 5.
I'm not sure, Chris. I'm kind of wrapped up in everything. I think 4 or 5.
Tell them it's 5, Chris.
The game is over. We won it. It's been a long season.
Congratulations. Congratulations, champ. Back to you, Lou.
Chris O'Donoghue with Joe Fink. Perhaps the greatest, the highest scoring American player in the MISL. Mike Stankovic is being sent to the locker room, ejected. Neil Cohen on his way out. As you can see, Cohen really not
to make a championship
the instigator there.
We promote the Blast here in Baltimore. Let's show the MISL what kind of fans we really are.
Bill Roth urging the crowd, the public address announcer, to finish it with a flurry here. An unpleasant moment, but really not a nasty or unsavory one. The frustrations of St. Louis' third straight loss in championship play bubbling over in the final seconds. A team that really threw the whole arsenal at the Blast in Game 4 in front of their home fans, 15,000 of the faithful there, and came up short in overtime. Played a sloppy, mindless game at times in the first quarter, paid the price, rallied within 3-2 midway through the third period, but then Joe Fink, with the score Blast 5, St. Louis 3, wrapped it up with 4 fourth quarter goals. And this will do it now. Enjoy, Baltimore. The Blast wins the deciding game of the MISL Championship 10-3 and takes the series in 5 games, 4-1. Ken Cooper with his goalkeeping tandem that may, after all, have been the key to the great success for the year. Another look at the great crowd, the great fans of the Blast. That is Fran Roden, the wife of outgoing Baltimore owner Bernie Roden. Now congratulating Ken Cooper. They started together in Houston, moved the franchise here together, have been great innovators and leaders in a new sport, and tonight is their reward. The trophy presentation, the icing on the cake, is next. Stay with us on Channel 13. We'll be back for the presentation of the championship trophy after this.
Working at Shorty, your days belong to somebody else, but your nights are all yours. To Miller time! Now comes your time with the best beer you can find, Miller High Life. Bring your thirsty self right here. You've got the time, we've got the beer. For what you have in mind. Welcome to Miller time.
I've got a McDonald's that's right on my tongue. I've got a McDonald's, I'm gonna have some. I did almost love those shakes. McDonald's, yummy, yummy. I've got a taste for McDonald's. I've got a taste for.
Welcome back to the Baltimore Civic Center, the home of the world champion Baltimore Blast. The 1983-84 Major Indoor Soccer League champions. We've been happy to bring it to you on Channel 13. Tonight in Game 5, the Blast trounced the St. Louis Steamers, the challenger, 10-3 to take the series 4 games to 1. A spectacular fourth quarter performance that will be remembered for a long time. A new chapter written in the young history of this league when Joe Fink fed Dave McWilliams for a goal to break it open at 6-3. And then Fink himself scored 4 goals in a span of 4 minutes. 5 minutes, check that. A remarkable performance, and now the culmination of it all for...
Can everybody hear me?
For the fans here and the fans at home, Alan Troutwig standing by at midfield for the presentation of the championship trophy. Al?
Not only are we enjoying this here, but everyone that's watching Channel 13 right now across this city is enjoying it with you. I think one thing we saw tonight was just how much both these teams wanted to win, down to the very end. And it's time to award not only trophies to the winners, but trophy to the team that did an awful lot, the St. Louis Steamers. I turn you over now. Turn you over now to Mr. Bruce Hudson. Mr. Hudson.
Thank you, Al. Would Sam Beck please come up here? On behalf of Anheuser-Busch, I would like to present the Budweiser MISL finalist medallion to Sam and the St. Louis Steamers.
Sam Bick, who played the sixth attacker role, one of the original Steamers of St. Louis and a native. He was really one of the prime players throughout the series.
Which will be given to the remainder of the Steamers as well, signifies excellence in the game of indoor soccer. Congratulations.
And the Baltimore crowd recognizing a great gutsy performance, particularly here on the Baltimore turf, by the Steamers, who only win came here in game one.
Would Dave McWilliams please come forward?
The captain of the Blast. Two goals tonight for McWilliams.
Dave, on behalf of Anheuser-Busch, I'd like to present the Budweiser MISL Championship Medallion to you and the remaining players of the Baltimore Blast.
Dave McWilliams and
this
the 12
medallion
still on
signifies soccer supremacy in the MISL. Thank you.
I didn't want to leave out the viewers who may be watching in St. Louis right now as well. Their team has been there many times, and well, they're certainly one of the best teams that this league has ever known. It's time now to award the player who has stood out among the best. And Mr. Bruce Hudson will now award the MVP trophy right now.
I'd like to award the Budweiser Most Valuable Player of the Championship Series to Scott Manning.
Scott Manning awarded the Most Valuable Player trophy, the goalkeeper for the Baltimore Blast, the winners in games 3 and 4 in St. Louis. 30 saves in game 3, 25, and look at the appreciation from Keith Van Aaron, who won tonight's game. Kenny Cooper, who took a journeyman goalkeeper and helped turn him towards the most valuable player in the league championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are saying hello to a champion for the very first time. But we are also saying goodbye in the Major Indoor Soccer League to someone who began the entire thing. Commissioner Earl Foreman now has a few words and will present the championship trophy.
Lest we forget at this moment, the St. Louis Steamers had an outstanding and a wonderful year. They won their Western Division title. They advanced through the quarterfinals and the semifinals and they engaged in a magnificent championship series with your Baltimore Blast. And in the great tradition of our sport, I'm going to ask you here this evening, as surrogates for the fans in St. Louis, to rise and give a deserved hand of applause to the Steamers. Baltimore has a rich, proud, and enduring tradition and heritage in professional sports. The Baltimore Blast are now an integral part of that heritage and tradition. Kenny and the Baltimore Blast players, I know how meaningful this championship is to you. I extend to you the congratulations of the league. Bernie Roden, you should and you will be long remembered as the person who brought the Blast to this city. Pleasure that I present to you this trophy, which symbolizes the fact that the 1984 champion of the major indoor soccer league are the Baltimore Blast.
My friends, I have been enriched to be loved in this city. I have to tell you that I will always remember the greatest fans in sports. This has been a difficult year for this city. However, we now have a new name for Baltimore, the City of Champions. We have in our team some of the finest athletes and human beings I have ever known. People who have worked with charity, people who have gone to meet school kids, people who have marched for every charity in the city because they love Baltimore. This is a victory that the Baltimore Blast have given to the people of the city of Baltimore. We had our pain this year, and we had our suffering, and I'm referring to other sports agonies in the city. But we have, with the Orioles and the Blast, nothing but beauty. We have a proud heritage that we can move into the future. I want to thank you, Coach Cooper, Mitch Burke, and all the members of the team. I'm going to miss you, and I'm going to miss you every time I think of tonight. You will always be in my memories. All I can tell you is you're sending me out like a champion. I leave and I thank you for what you have done for me and for my wife, Fred. We both salute you and the fans of Baltimore. Thank you.
There you have it. Bernie Roden holding the championship trophy aloft now. Ken Cooper and Bernie Roden, indeed that tandem has brought championship soccer to the city of Baltimore. The Baltimore Blast, the 1983-84 MISL champion.
A celebration to last throughout the year. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We gonna celebrate.
Bernie Roden, Ken Cooper, Captain Dave McWilliams, and your 1983-84 World Indoor Soccer Champions, the Baltimore Blast. Celebrate Baltimore, enjoy the weekend. We will be back with you Monday evening at 6:30 for the championship victory parade. The championship parade, Monday evening, 6:30, Inner Harbor. This victory lap will conclude there. We'll see you then. It's been our pleasure on Channel 13 to bring you the championship series. Chris O'Donoghue, Alan Shopwig, I'm Lou Tilley, and this entire championship series